Hey campers, George here in the South 40 man cave today. Unfortunately, having some issues at the cottage. Can't work in the man cave right now. So I'm moving everything here, temporary, I hope, so that I can do some work. Let's check it out. I've kind of made me some working space here. And what I want to do today is make a couple of leather products for some knives I restored. You've probably seen them. It is these two guys. You see them there? This one, Imperial Camp King. Found this in a swap meet at the same place I found this one, and it was in overall pretty good condition. Just had to clean it up. For a Camp King that's in this good condition, a lucky find. So I was very excited about this. Worked out very well. Can see it cleaned up really nice. I'm going to assume it's going to be a Boy Scout knife. Now, it's not a Boy Scout knife, but if you look up Boy Scout knives, which I did, and let me tell you, some of their choices, the style is exactly the same. All the tools and everything, exactly the same as a Camp King. This one here, I found at the swap meet as well, and it actually is a Girl Scout. I was very excited when I found this, loved this handle, totally different, and of course it has the one of the Girl Scout badges on it. This is the information I found about, and it cleaned up very nice. I really like this knife. It's a cut master, and I'll put links below to the videos of me restoring these two guys, so you can catch up if you never saw them. This one actually will have a slip, and this one will actually have a sheath. So that's what we're going to do right now. As you can see, I have a couple of things. This is some leather I received in a mail call. This piece here, if you look at the color on the back, is the original color but darker on this side. Now, it wasn't quite the green I wanted, so I did some testing and decided to put on some more color, and what I used was Kelly green. It actually worked out pretty good. Not quite as close as I wanted it to, but it's close. So I'm going to use this to make a slip for the Girl Scout. This leather, you can see it here, and it's been, I don't know what you call it. They've marked it, stamped it, whatever they do with it to give it, let me take it out of the package here. Here it is here. And you can see the pattern on it. Nice plain leather, nice thickness for a leather sheath for the Camp King. So I'm not going to color it yet. Right now I'm thinking black, but I'm a big fan of British tan. I'll see when I'm done, when I get to that point, what I'm going to use. But I found this at Walmart. I can't remember how much it cost me. And the only reason I got it is I want this wood to make templates for sheaths. And you'll see what I'm talking about right now when we... So this is the pieces I wanted, and the reason is they are the right width for the piece that goes over the front, and that's going to be molded to hold the knife. Two of them should be exactly the right depth I need. That's it. And then we'll use this as the template tool just to put them together. Cleaned off all the rough edges and everything, make it nice and smooth, don't get any pokey things. Labeled it Camp King Plus. So any knife that we'll throw on the ground, this is summing up my day. So any knife that is about the same size as a Camp King, I can use this as a template. I want a regular over the front sheath with a flat back with a belt loop on it, and it needs a flap that comes over. Decided to move outside. It's just too dark in there, heavy clouds. My lighting's not that great. So I'm going to sew this thing together. So there we are. Now we got to work on this flap. Okay, I trimmed it up. You can see it sits in there. The idea being that this will sit down there and the flap will go on. Now the problem I'm going to have is that this is very floppy. Okay. Definitely going to have to make it smaller, thinner. Okay, I decided to go with British tan. My lighting's a little screwed up right now, sorry. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Just going to color up these guys. The nice thing about this is you can actually shade this stuff. The more layers you put on, the darker it gets. So start off with a light layer and then we're gonna beat a fly in a minute. This guy's bothering me. Okay, so I left it overnight. It's nice and dry and formed now. But the problem is, when I stretched it over the wood, we lost a lot of the pattern on it. It's still there, barely. I'm going to dye it now with British tan, match the rest. Let that dry, and then we're going to start putting it all together. And hopefully it'll work. Same thing again. Going to put a couple of layers on it. And hopefully it'll look worn in. See, one layer it's fairly light. Okay, all showered, fed, ready to go. Got to get this done. I have some chores to do. We've got to mow the lawn, yada, 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 yada. It's dry now, ready. Let's see if it's going to actually fit. Like that. Have the strap on the back. This will come over. See that? Does the knife fit? It's kind of important, isn't it? So it seems to fit in there nicely. Put the strap on the back. We'll sew that on. Then we can finish up here, mark it, drill the holes, and hopefully trim it down, snap on, and we're all good. So today the good news is the sun is shining, there's no clouds. The bad news is it's going to get real warm and muggy. We need to get this done before it gets really bad. I'm sure I've showed you this before, but I just want to, if you're planning on learning to do this, like I am, one thing I have learned is that when you put on the belt strap, you can see here, I actually go around the edge of the belt strap on both sides. I found that if I don't do that, the belt strap tends to move over time. This seems to help. It stops it from moving. So you basically punch a hole outside of the strap on either side. You see that? And then you can do that loop on both sides. Here you can see what I'm talking about. I'm going outside of the strap. You see that? And now I have the edge. It's over the edge of the belt strap, which just gives it a lot stronger hold. Another thing to remember is, although I'm at the end of the run, I need to come back 1 or 2 holes and then cut off and clean it up. It stops it, if it comes undone, it's really hard for it to undo itself. So here you can see I went to the end and I've come back 1 and 2 pieces. I'll cut these off, burn them down, squish them down, and it gives a better hold. And there we have the belt loop. Stitch lines. So I drilled all the holes and you can see them there, very exciting. And then I turned it over. When I was drilling, the bottom piece came unglued from the top piece. You can see my initial drill holes were across there. Not good. So I had to line it up, kind of, sort of, and using this as the guide, re-drilled them. It doesn't look too bad. You'll notice it when it's threaded, it's going to curve a little. Problem I'm going to have is trimming that off. It's going to take some delicate trimming. There it is there. That seems to fit. Now we got to do this. Now I have a little dilemma. I was thinking of a stud, but I found something online that I kind of liked. And it's kind of the ball where you just have a slit and you push this on. And the ball holds it in place. Huh. Look what arrived in the mail. Ain't that a coincidence? This is what I'm talking about. Is these guys. See that? That knobby thing. And you mount it on here, and this presses on. It's something different from a snap. Here goes nothing. If it doesn't work, we can put a stud over it. I think I'm going to use this punch. It's a little smaller on the front, but it spreads when you punch in. So hopefully that's going to work. Here goes. Nope. So now comes the scary part. So I guess we start slowly with a little bit of a cut. Like that. I'm thinking I should have just done one. Well, we're about to find out. Oh, look at that. Ha! Okay. So far, so good. We need the hole right there. This hole can be a lot smaller because we're doing a screw. Apparently getting that screw in there was not easy. The problem I'm going to have is getting this really tight. How do I do that? Because the screw is in there. Huh. Let's put this guy in. See what happens. Oh, much tighter. There we go. Look at that. Ha! It kind of sort of worked. Okay. Need to clean up all the edges. Then we'll put some burnishing gum on it. Got to paint these, touch it up, and then we should be done. Woot! And we're running out of light. So you just put it on here. The shape of this tool allows you to get into some weird places. And just give it a rub. So we're back outside again. Yeah, the lights died. It's that time of the year where the sun, when it moves across, it goes behind the trees and my solar panel doesn't get any light. The horror. 2 little knives, scouting knives, needed sheaths, and it was traumatic. This is what happens when you have other things going on. It's not a big problem for me personally, health-wise or anything. It has affected my health, but not a big deal. Basically, I just have a having a reaction to something in the cottage when I returned from San Diego, came home, came in, and it smelt a little musky. And I thought, well, 2 weeks, it's been closed up. Not really closed up, but I noticed that when I walked in, I thought, that smells musky. So anyway, a long story short, 2 hours later, I was coughing. I was having a real problem, a really bad cough, coming from dry California to humid Minnesota is the problem. Well, it didn't go away. That smell got worse, and I noticed I was doing stuff in the man cave. I was making videos, and I would cough more there. So I tore things out and moved things around and looked in the corner, and there is a drain access in the bottom there, which was under the carpet. At first I thought it was for a sump, but when I had the people come in to test, they said, no, it's another access for your sewage and things like that, for them to snake and help clear out stuff. Well, apparently that leaked. With all the rain and everything we had, water in the ground, problem with filling up the sewage and that sort of thing. It wasn't a big leak, it just was enough to make everything damp, and kept it damp for a while, and there was mold. So I called these guys in because I didn't feel that was enough to cause the problems I was having. And they've done testing. They did them yesterday. They have to email the results when they come back from the lab, and that'll tell me they did air quality and looked for mold and did an air analyzing. So I'm waiting for the results for that. Right now they said avoid that area as much as you can. So I went in there, I grabbed everything I had that I thought I would need, and basically threw it in the shed, hoping that would be enough to allow me to make videos and that. Anyway, besides that, things are going well. I'll update you on the cottage. Don't know what I'm going to need to do, but something has to be done. So there you go. So we have the two. Now originally, like I said, on the Girl Scout, I wanted to make a slip. Just having a slip there, it's a fairly big heavy knife, it's going to come out of the slip. I had made a slip before with this across it. The leather was stiff, it wasn't that buckskin, and you could just slide the lid in there and it holds fine, it works great. The buckskin is just too soft. And then of course the bail issues. So I had to come up with something. So I left the strap on there so that you can, when you put the knife in, it slides in like that. You see the bail? You can hold the bail in underneath the strap like that. See that? And I put the snap on. Fortunately, I had enough room, and I stiffened up the tongue. It'll be okay. Now, there is no belt loop on this at all. This is designed to go in a bag, pocket, or whatever. I really like this knife. I think this sheath will do, well, it's not a sheath. What would you call a pouch? I think you'd call it a pouch. It worked all out okay considering the knife style, the bail. So, not perfect, but hey, it worked. Camp King from Imperial. This guy that I cleaned up. It's probably, I have a couple of them that I've cleaned, and this one turned out the best, so I thought I'd use this guy. It's a normal sheath. I've done these before, kind of standard, belt loop on the back there. This leather that I used was patterned. It had been stamped. You can see it there. The problem is, when I pulled it tight over my template, with it being damp, I lost all the pattern. You can barely see it. But I think it's okay because that kind of helps. The thing still has the pattern on it. You can see it on there. I had seen these before online, and I thought it would be a cool thing. I saw it used by BPS Knives on their, I want to say a peasant knife, and they had made a sheath just kind of like this, and they used that. I couldn't find them, but eventually I found them, and they just happened to come in today, so I thought perfect time to try them out. And it's just something different from they kind of sort of worked. So considering everything going on, nice project to do. We'll see what happens. I'll certainly be updating you. I am thinking about doing a live video, a live chat, certainly within the next couple of days or maybe next week. So stay tuned for that. I'll put up a post on that. And the other thing I need from you, these videos are long. And, you know, I'm just one of those people that if I want to show you something, you need to know the whole story. And unfortunately, they get really long. I'm thinking about going to one at a time. That'll certainly shorten it. And I think I can show the whole process better. But let me know what you think. So there you go. You be safe when you're doing that. Pay attention, be aware of what's going on. Just say. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe. You know the story. I'll be back. I'll update you. Thanks for watching. Always appreciate it. See you again.